The morning sun filtered through Rose Garden Manor's restored Victorian windows, casting intricate shadows across the marble floors I'd personally selected from a quarry in Tuscany. 20 years of careful restoration had transformed this once-derelict estate into the most sought-after wedding venue in New England. Now my own daughter would be married here. If we could get past this morning's meeting. Mama, please don't say anything when she does it, Sophia had begged over the phone. Miranda Hartley is the best wedding planner in Boston. We're lucky she agreed to take us on. I adjusted my simple linen dress, comfortable enough for the hands-on work I still did around the property, and checked my watch. The famous Miranda was running late. From the entrance hall came the click of expensive heels and a cultured voice dripping with authority. This simply won't do. The Oriental rugs need to be Persian, not Pakistani. The owner will notice immediately. I bit back a smile. I'd chosen those rugs specifically for their durability, not their provenance. 20 years in the hospitality business had taught me that practicality often trumped prestige. And who are you? Miranda Hartley's perfectly highlighted head swiveled toward me. Her assistant, struggling with multiple portfolios, nearly crashed into her. Never mind, she cut me off, thrusting her designer bag into my hands. The floors need mopping before Mrs. Chen arrives. She's very particular, I hear. These new money types always are. New money. I suppressed a laugh. The traditional jade bangle on my wrist was a 400-year-old family heirloom that had survived the Cultural Revolution, hidden in my grandmother's hemline. Mrs. Chen is, I tried again, going to be here any minute, Miranda snapped. Less talking, more cleaning. There's a mop closet down that hall. Teresa. She turned to her assistant. Start setting up in the main ballroom. And for heaven's sake, hide those awful Pakistani rugs. I watched them click-clack toward my meticulously restored ballroom, Miranda's running commentary echoing off the walls. Everything must be perfect. The mother of the bride is some tech executive who got lucky with crypto or something. Probably hasn't seen real quality in her life. The real quality of my MIT engineering degree and 3 successful IPOs before age 40 might beg to differ. My phone buzzed. Sophia. Mama, is she there? Please tell me everything's okay. Your Mrs. Hartley just arrived, I said in Mandarin, knowing it would drive Miranda crazy not understanding. She's very efficient. She thinks you're the cleaning staff, doesn't she? She handed me her bag and told me to mop. Mama? Don't worry, sweetheart. I'm actually enjoying myself. I switched back to English as Miranda emerged from the ballroom. Yes, the floors will be spotless for Mrs. Chen's arrival. Miranda shot me an approving look. At least someone here understands standards. Teresa, where are those vendor portfolios? I slipped into the mop closet, my private office actually deliberately designed to look utilitarian from the outside. Inside was a state-of-the-art command center where I monitored every aspect of the venue's operations. On one screen, I watched Miranda terrorize her assistant while rearranging my carefully curated furniture. A discreet knock interrupted my surveillance. Mrs. Chen. It was James, my actual head of maintenance. The real cleaning crew is here, but Mrs. Hartley thinks I'm doing their job. I grinned. Let them start in the East Wing. I'm conducting an experiment in human nature. James, who'd been with me since I bought this place as a crumbling ruin, tried not to smile. Like that time the health inspector assumed you were a kitchen helper. He learned a lot about proper food handling certification that day. I checked another screen. And it looks like our wedding planner is about to learn something too. Miranda's voice carried through the security feed. These light fixtures are all wrong. Probably some cheap Asian imports. We'll need to replace them before the owner sees them. Those cheap Asian imports were hand-blown Venetian glass, selected during a personal visit to Murano. The artisan had come out of retirement specifically for this commission. Actually, Teresa ventured, I think those air. What would you know about quality? Miranda dismissed her. Just like this venue. Beautiful bones, but no real understanding of true luxury. What can you expect when new money tries to play in old money spaces? I checked my watch again. Time to put Miranda out of her misery. I speed-dialed Sophia. Ready for the show, sweetheart? Be nice, Mama. We still need her to plan the wedding. I'll be professional. I smoothed my dress. I'm just going to help her update her assumptions. I stepped out of my mop closet, just as Miranda was instructing Teresa to do something about that Asian woman dawdling in the hallway. Actually, I said in my boardroom voice, the Asian woman was just reviewing the security footage of the last 15 minutes. Fascinating viewing. Miranda froze. Security footage? Including your comments about cheap Asian imports, new money, and Pakistani rugs. I smiled. Though I should correct you, those rugs are actually Pakistani. I chose them personally. You chose. Well, it is my house. I extended my hand. Grace Chen, owner of Rose Garden Manor, CEO of Chen Global Ventures, and mother of your bride-to-be. The color drained from Miranda's face. Behind her, Teresa looked like she wanted to disappear into the Pakistani rug. But you were. Dressed comfortably for a morning of venue management, I gestured around the hall. One doesn't restore a historic property by sitting behind a desk. Though I do that too, when I'm not being handed designer bags and cleaning instructions. Miranda Hartley's perfectly glossed lips opened and closed without sound. Her assistant Teresa had the good sense to look mortified while frantically tapping on her tablet, probably Googling me now. Mrs. Chen, Teresa squeaked. Your profile. You're on Ford's cover this month. Was I? I feigned surprise. I've been too busy overseeing the restoration of our new East Wing. We're adding a koi pond. Very oriental. I couldn't resist the small dig. Miranda finally found her voice. I don't understand. The cleaning staff said I was in the mop closet. I pressed a hidden panel, revealing my high-tech office. I find it useful to maintain certain misconceptions. You learn a lot about people when they think you're invisible. The wedding planner's face shifted from white to green as the implications of her earlier comments sank in. Sophia warned me you were the best in Boston. I continued mildly, though she didn't mention your unique perspectives on Asian imports and new money. Mrs. Chen, please. Miranda stepped forward. I can explain. Mom. Sophia's voice rang through the hall. My daughter rushed in, impeccable in her prosecutor's suit, followed by her fiancé James and his parents, the Whitfields. Perfect timing, sweetheart, I smiled. Mrs. Hartley was just sharing her thoughts on venue decoration. Sophia took in the scene, Miranda's distress, Teresa's frantic Googling, and my too innocent expression. Mama, what did you do? Nothing, darling. Just a small lesson in hasty assumptions. Margaret Whitfield, James's mother, stepped forward with the same blue blood grace that had initially made me wary. But she'd surprised us all, embracing Sophia and me with genuine warmth from day one. Grace, she said now, eyes twinkling, please tell me you didn't let Miranda do her usual routine. You know Mrs. Hartley? I asked. Unfortunately, Margaret's smile was razor sharp. She did my niece's wedding. Spent the entire time explaining how nouveau riche everyone was compared to her vision of real society. Miranda looked like she might faint. Although Margaret continued, I don't recall her criticizing the venue owner to their face. That's new. Oh, she didn't know it was my face, I said cheerfully. She was too busy handing me her bag and commenting on my cheap Asian taste. James groaned. Mrs. Chen, I am so sorry. Don't be, I touched his arm. You and your mother have never made Sophia or me feel anything but welcome, unlike some people who measure worth by perceived pedigree. Miranda drew herself up. Clearly there's been a misunderstanding. Perhaps we should start over, I suggested, with fewer assumptions about Asian imports and cleaning staff. Sophia stepped in. Mom, remember what we discussed about being diplomatic? I'm being very diplomatic, sweetheart. I haven't even mentioned the security footage yet. Security footage? Miranda's voice rose an octave. Standard procedure, I shrugged. Every interaction in the venue is recorded. For quality control, you understand. Speaking of which, those cheap light fixtures, the artisan who made them is flying in next month to create matching pieces for the East Wing. Would you like to meet him? He rarely comes out of retirement, but for his old friend Grace. I let the sentence hang. Teresa's tablet chimed. Mrs. Hartley, I have Mrs. Chen's full profile here. She's on the board of the Museum of Fine Arts and the Symphony. And this venue, Margaret added smoothly, which she transformed from ruins into the most exclusive wedding location in New England. Though apparently, it needs better rugs. Miranda swayed slightly. I should go. Actually, Sophia said firmly, you should stay. Because despite everything, you're the best wedding planner in Boston. And this wedding needs to be perfect. She turned to me. Right, Mama? I studied Miranda Hartley's face, seeing beyond the prejudices to the fear beneath. How many times had she felt the need to prove herself in a world that judged too quickly? Wasn't that what I'd been doing all my life? You're right, I said finally. Mrs. Hartley should stay. After all, planning a wedding is about creating something beautiful together, though perhaps with fewer assumptions about who belongs where. Relief flooded Miranda's face. Mrs. Chen, I cannot apologize enough. Then don't, I cut in. Show me instead. Show me your vision for my daughter's wedding. Just remember, those Pakistani rugs stay. Margaret laughed. And I insist on seeing this security footage at some point. Ladies' lunch next week, I suggested. I know a lovely Asian fusion place. Very new money. As everyone relaxed into planning mode, I caught Sophia's grateful smile. My brilliant daughter, who'd never let prejudice stop her from becoming a prosecutor, who was marrying into old money but never forgot her roots. Mama, she whispered in Mandarin, you're terrible. No, daughter, I replied in the same language, watching Miranda pretend not to squirm. I'm educational. Over the next 2 hours, Miranda Hartley underwent what I can only describe as a professional metamorphosis. Every time she started to make a sweeping statement about traditional elegance, she'd catch my eye and quickly recalibrate. Perhaps, she said carefully, reviewing fabric swatches, we could incorporate some elements from both families' heritage. You mean like these? I pressed another hidden panel, revealing a climate-controlled display of vintage silk gyeongrams. My grandmother's collection. The embroidery techniques are rather oriental. Teresa stifled a laugh. She'd relaxed considerably since the initial revelation, proving to be quite knowledgeable when not being steamrolled by her boss. Mrs. Chen, Miranda ventured, these are museum quality. Yes, they are. Just like those cheap Asian imports lighting your way. I smiled sweetly. Amazing what you notice when you actually look past your first assumptions. Margaret Whitfield was thoroughly enjoying herself. Grace, darling, remember when the country club tried to serve you in the kitchen? Right after I bought it, I laughed. The manager nearly had a stroke when the new owner he'd been avoiding turned out to be the woman he directed to the service entrance. Miranda's face flushed. I seem to be in distinguished company when it comes to making terrible mistakes. The mistake isn't the problem, I said quietly. It's refusing to learn from it. Sophia, who'd been reviewing table arrangements, looked up. Like that judge who thought I was the interpreter, who now reports to you as district attorney, I reminded her. Life has a way of rearranging assumptions. Speaking of arrangements, Teresa interjected. I've been researching traditional Chinese wedding elements. The double happiness symbol could be beautifully incorporated into the Pakistani rugs. I suggested innocently. Miranda actually laughed. I deserve that. Though I maintain that Persian would have been more expensive, yes, more practical for a venue hosting 200 events a year. No, I pulled up the Manor's financial projections on my office screens. Sometimes true luxury is knowing when practicality trumps pretense. Looking at the numbers, Miranda's professional mask cracked completely. These profit margins are extraordinary. How did you? By remembering that I'm not just creating beautiful weddings, I'm running a business. I gestured around. Every choice, from the Pakistani rugs to the Italian marble, balances elegance with efficiency, something a truly excellent wedding planner should understand. She met my eyes. I'm beginning to. Sophia touched my arm. Mama, stop teaching and start planning. I'm getting married in 3 months. Actually, Miranda straightened her shoulders. I have some ideas. If Mrs. Chen, if Grace would be willing to trust me after assuming I was the help, I finished. Consider it a teaching moment. Show me your vision, Miranda. Just remember. The rugs stay, everyone tourist. Later, as the Whitfields left and Miranda and Teresa packed up their extensively revised plans, my daughter lingered. You enjoyed that too much, she accused in Mandarin. Me? I answered innocently in the same language. I was just being educational. You're always educational, Ma. That's why I love you. She hugged me. Though maybe next time, warn the wedding planner that the venue owner might be wandering around in casual clothes. and missed these valuable learning opportunities, I switched back to English as Miranda approached. Mrs. Chen. Grace, she said formally. I've learned more about true elegance today than in 20 years of planning society weddings. Good. I handed her back her designer bag. Because my daughter deserves a wedding planner who sees beauty in all its forms, not just the expected ones. After they left, I stood in my restored entrance hall, running my hand along the Pakistani rug that had sparked such assumptions. 20 years ago, I'd stood in the same spot, surrounded by ruins, while real estate agents tried to talk me out of buying a hopeless case. Now the hopeless case hosted the most exclusive events in New England, and my daughter would be married here, surrounded by both her cultures, both her families, and yes, those practical Pakistani rugs. Some might call it new money success. I called it the American dream, built one careful choice and one corrected assumption at a time. And if some people needed a little educational assistance in updating their worldview, well, that was just part of the service at Rose Garden Manor, even if it wasn't listed in the brochure.